is Rob Driscoll, and I am the Republican candidate for prosecuting attorney. And one of the questions that I'm going to try to answer is why I believe I should have your vote. I've got 14 years experience as a prosecutor. I've done everything that a prosecuting attorney does. I've had 4 murder trials, been successful at all of those. And the last time I spoke to you, it was the theme of a crisis in confidence in the prosecutor's office. If anything, that crisis has gotten worse. Because the last time I spoke to you, one of the murders that we've had go on in the county hadn't happened yet. And that was Robin Waldron. And so I've got the experience handling murder trials to be able to do those effectively and efficiently. Of the 4 murder cases that I've handled, 3 of the individuals are in prison for the rest of their lives. The 4th one is in a mental hospital. I'm hoping for the rest of his life. It was a horrific murder. One of the other things that I do is we had a 3-county drug task force with Athens, Washington, and Morgan counties. I prosecuted the drug traffickers out of that task force for the Athens County portion of it. I put traffickers in prison, and that's where I believe that traffickers should be, because what they do is they sell the drugs that corrupt our youth. And not only our youth, but even some of the older people who are getting addicted to drugs, going out, breaking into our barns, breaking into our sheds. We have property laying on the ground. That property gets stolen. I talked to a gentleman who had $60,000 worth of merchandise stolen from his property. That's wrong. Traffickers should go to prison. But with the traffickers, you also have people who use drugs, and that's one of the other concerns. How do you deal with them? You have 2 different kinds of people who use drugs. One, the people who've been using drugs since the 70s. Treat them pretty much like you do a trafficker, because in essence that's what they are. But you also have people who've been injured. For some reason, they're given the drugs, and they use them and they get addicted to it, but they don't want to be addicted. They want to get off those drugs just as badly, probably more so, than we want them off those drugs. And we can get those people help and get them treatment so that they can become, once again, productive members of society. And that's really what the goal is, to rehabilitate them so that they can get out in society and be productive members, tax-paying members. And that's what we really want to see have happen. One of the other issues that is before the prosecutor is the prosecutor collects taxes. We have about $1.5 million in back real estate taxes. Those need to be collected, and those haven't been for quite some time. My plan for that is for folks who, is that the buzzer? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you can ask a question about back taxes, and I'll tell you. Thank you.
Good evening. I stand before you this evening to ask for your vote for prosecuting attorney. I have given you a lot of information about myself, my goals, etc. over the last 14 months in newspaper articles, videos, speeches, etc. So I thought a lot about what I should say to you tonight on these final days before the election. I ultimately return to what I want to hear from politicians 27 days before I cast my ballot, and that is 2 things. 1, why do you want the job? And 2, what are you going to do for me? Why do I want to be your prosecuting attorney? I've pursued nothing but being a lawyer since 11th grade. It's not a second career path for me. I clerked for a small firm for 7 summers after high school, had a fellowship with the Department of Justice, and ultimately made my way to small town private practice in your town. I've done tons of different types of cases over the years, and I can't imagine not being in the courtroom. Therefore, as your prosecutor, you will see me handling all facets of the office. I am now an assistant prosecutor in Hocking County. I could go into grisly details about all sorts of horrible cases I've been involved in, men perping on young boys, infants' rectums shoved full of diaper wipes to stop his diarrhea, and on and on. But the bottom line is that I want to serve you irregardless of the difficulty of the case or whether or not it's high profile. After 15 years, I want to practice law in a different way, a way that I believe we can make an even greater impact on our community. Our justice system faces challenge, and I believe a new set of ideas combined with a new passion can serve as a catalyst for change. Secondly, what will I do for you? I make only one promise to you, and that is to work as hard for Vinton County as I ever have, if not harder. Over the years, that has meant a lack of sleep, but I believe our situation calls for a firm dedication to fighting crime and preparing solid cases. I believe this means better organization, better efficiency, and a greater focus on victims' rights, rethinking how we currently use already strapped resources, etc. This office deserves no less. I believe this means better legal representation for elected officials, trustees, children's services, and law enforcement. I believe this means a review of prior, undisposed, or neglected cases. I believe Vinton County deserves a firm, fair, full-time prosecutor who has shown their dedication to the values and prosperity of our community. I believe that person is me, and I am very excited to serve you and work for you in that way. Thank you.